Like,
Nice.
whoa, how? Oh, okay, I see. How did he do that? Like,
I like how you impersonate them. Ooh.
whoa, how did he do that? That was kind of bad, I thought. How did he get so good at that? Yeah, but
Excuse me, Masen.
Welcome to another episode of the Excuse Me Masen podcast. I am your host, Saul, and joining me today is Scoey, one of my homeboys from Saipan. Hey, what's up, man?
hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Brother Sal. Yes.
Did you watch Shogun yet?
Shogun. No, I have not. Is it the one with like a samurai guy or something?
Yeah.
Or
Like
a
when I first
warrior
saw it,
kind of dude?
I thought it was like a historical drama or something, but it's a fictional drama based on real people, apparently.
Hmm.
Yeah. The guy who plays the leader, he's from The Last Samurai. Did you watch The Last Samurai?
Yeah, I watched The Last Samurai for sure. But wow, I did not know that he was the lead.
Okay, so The Last Samurai is Tom Cruise, right?
Yes,
And then
with
there's like,
Watanabe Ken, right?
yeah. And then there's this Japanese guy who plays like the Bushido teacher. I don't know if you remember that guy.
Yes. Okay, I only know the super famous one, but
Yeah, so you said you haven't seen it yet. Does that mean, wait, do you watch TV much?
um, well, when it comes to watching, I'm more on YouTube more than I am on like other platforms. But if I did get into like, like, well, let's say just like Squid Games, I mean, I will go on to like Netflix or like stand-up comedy. I'm always on Netflix if it's stand-up comedy.
Yeah. So Netflix is your choice then.
Yes, I prefer
Yeah.
YouTube, Netflix.
Yeah, the whole reason why I'm asking is because I was watching Shogun on Disney Plus, and then I
Hmm,
noticed that Disney Plus and Netflix, you
hmm,
can, when you choose a video that you want to watch, you can just choose
mhm.
the language very easily. And then I went to Amazon Prime and I was watching, I think it was Predator or something like that.
Oh,
And when you find a movie from, let's say, for example, probably like sometime before 2020,
hmm,
they don't give you the option to choose the language after you select the movie. So if you're doing
mm,
through a search, you search the movie and then two versions will pop up. There's the
hmm.
English version and then the Japanese version. And you have to be able to read the kanji in order to understand which one you're supposed to choose if you want to watch the English version.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really annoying because sometimes like you're
Huh?
just browsing, right? And then
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh, we recommend this movie. You click on it, starts playing, and then it plays in Japanese. And I'm just like, wait, I want to play English. So I check the language settings and there's no
Mm.
option for English. So then I have to back out, go to search
So
for
it's
the
like a
movie.
super hassle.
Yeah, it's a hassle. So, I mean, for anybody listening to this episode, if you come to Japan and you're looking for a streaming service, don't waste your time with Amazon, man. It sucks.
Hmm. I think Netflix has more of actual movies and like TV shows.
Yeah, Netflix actually is the best for Japan because
They have like more or something, I think.
yeah, there's more. Plus, if you use a VPN, depending on what
Mm.
country you choose, you can get content that's not available in the country that you're at. So
Yeah.
if you're in Japan and let's say, what's a good movie? Edge of Tomorrow. In Japan,
Okay.
it's known as All You Need Is Kill. Very good movie with Tom Cruise. If they don't have that on
It's the name though.
Netflix,
Yeah.
yeah, if they don't have that on Netflix Japan, you can just switch your VPN to US and then it'll probably be there.
And one thing that I really like, I do like, or I love about Netflix is because my sister has
Yeah.
been in the program for years, and you can, share the account with like
Okay.
a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty much under her account, and she's in like Oregon. But when
Yeah.
I try to do that with like my sister-in-law's Amazon Prime or even Hulu,
Yeah.
they're paying for it, but I'm like, share with me, like it's just for fun,
Yeah.
right? Because my sister's doing that for me, and then when I try it for like Prime, it's I don't they find their way to MacGyver their way into like don't you we got you.
to
No, you
block you
can't do
out.
that.
Yeah.
You gotta we're gonna get blocked. But when it
Yeah.
was until now, like for years already, I'm still under I'm still with my sister's profile, or not profile, but her in her account.
Yeah. The rule I think with Amazon, and I'm pretty sure Netflix has this too, but they're not super strict about it, is you have to be in the same household. So I'm pretty sure they're like checking your GPS or something and they see that you're not in the same house, or yeah, you're not in the same house, so they just block you off. Yeah, so let's get into the first segment. So the
Sure.
first segment for today, I wanted to talk about how on the news they said that Japan changed their residency rules for foreign entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
they created this thing for, basically it's international. It's not only like the US or whatever. And
Oh
it's like
yeah,
a
worldwide.
it's like a startup visa. So Japan now allows foreign entrepreneurs to live in the country for 2 years, and you don't have to have a fixed place of business, and you don't have to have an initial investment. So the way it
Yes.
worked
Yes.
before, I think it was implemented like April 3rd or something like that. But before that, what happened was you have to have your place of business set. You have to hire two
Yeah.
full-time employees,
Yeah.
and you have to have an investment of five, I think it was five
You gotta show the
million
proof of the
yen.
the funds, right?
Yeah, and it's 33,000 US dollars. But now you don't need any of that. You just need a business plan. And then you go, I think they interview you, and then if your business plan is skills, they give you the visa, and then
I think I've read something about that. But yeah, like you don't need to have, yeah. I mean, just so a little proof of your plan, and
yeah,
give them like your identity and stuff like that.
yeah.
And do they ask for where you're gonna stay?
I
Okay, I
don't
don't
think
know
so,
about that.
because when I was reading the article about it, they said, of course, they're trying to boost
The
business in
economy.
Japan, but
Yeah.
yeah, the economy. But
Mm,
their focus is to help people be able to meet other entrepreneurs in Japan, so that they have a
mm.
higher chance of success. Um,
Yes.
because it's already kind of a lot of pressure
Mm,
where you have to meet all these requirements before, right? Like the money and the place and everything. And then at the end of the article, they put a comment of somebody who's actually a business owner, an outsider who's a business owner in Japan. And
mm,
they said the biggest hurdle isn't those things. So,
mm.
because $33,000 is not a lot of money for people who are already established outside, right? They can come up with
Yeah.
that money very easily. The issue is the Japanese. Getting to the level that's necessary is very difficult. Finding people that you trust that speak Japanese at that level is very difficult. Yeah, especially if your business is, let's say you're American and you want to start a business in Japan, you want to put in somebody in there that you trust, right? So finding
Mm,
other American people that, of course, that you trust, that are
hmm.
willing to take up that position, it's pretty
Yeah.
hard to find those people. They're few and
True.
pretty rare.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that they set this up. So I think from now there's going to be a lot of people who are going to actually take a stab at it.
Better come over, man. Come over, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can imagine there might even be businesses that focus on helping those entrepreneurs start up. For example, helping them write the business plan in Japanese, helping them
Mm,
have answers for any questions that immigration or whoever's the office that's responsible, the municipality, when they're going to
hmm.
ask them questions, so that they have a higher chance of getting the visa.
Mm.
Since it's the first time I'm getting you on the show, I wanted to ask you some questions just to like let the people learn about who is Scoey, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's start off with how long have you been living in Japan?
Ooh. Well, I believe I've been here for like 13 years now. May I
13
ask you,
years?
how long have you been here now? Because I think you were here a little bit before me, no?
Yeah, 14 years. I came a year before you
Okay.
did.
Yes. So yeah, that makes me have more. It seems correct. Yes, 13
Yeah,
years now,
13
man.
years.
Sheesh.
But I would say, like, even in that 13 years, so I've been here for a year longer than you, but my work has been always centered around the English language. So I don't use
True.
Japanese as much as you do,
Oh,
but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So,
sure,
what's
sure.
your reason for moving to Japan?
Well, you know, living back home, I was working with the tourism industry, and I happened to
Yeah,
meet this person that was Japanese, and we connected, started a relationship, and we got married. And she
yeah.
called me and she said, "We're having a kid." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh,
And
she called you from Japan?
yeah, because we got married, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we were together for like about 2 years already, and then I felt she was the one. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I think I'm down for this." And then she's like, "How's about
yeah,
you come to Japan for a vacation?" And then we went to Disneyland, and I was really feeling the vibes because it's my first time to come to Japan. And it was
yeah,
so cool. I'm like, what the hell, dude? They have crows here? You know what I mean? Like, I was so intrigued about Japan and all the city life and all these, Japan. And we
yeah,
went to Disneyland, Disney Sea, and I was like, wow, I love this place. Everyone's so nice. Hello.
yeah,
And man, so awesome. I was like, shit, I'm going to propose. And I
yeah.
proposed at Disney Sea. But
At Disney
anyways,
Sea, nice.
yes. And I did the bow thing, and everyone's like, oh my God, he
Oh,
just
you got down on
proposed.
one knee?
Yeah, but the thing was, I don't hope she doesn't watch this, but I forgot the ring. I was like, would you marry? And I didn't have the ring, dude. But she's like, I get it, it's fine. But then,
Is
yeah,
it
so
cool that
I
we're
came to
talking about
Japan.
this?
Yeah, I'll stop
Okay,
right
okay.
there, but that's about it. Yeah,
All right. So you came because your wife told you that you guys are expecting, right?
yeah. We got married first, though, right? And
Yeah.
we didn't. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like yeah, we got married. I was like, yeah, she's the one.
Where are you staying now? Where are you guys staying?
I live in the district. Do you say district? I live in Tohoku. That's up north of Japan. I live in the prefecture of Fukushima, and I
Yeah,
live in a city in Fukushima called Koriyama. Don't stalk me, guys.
Koriyama. Uh,
No, but yeah.
don't stalk me.
No,
But I think
but yeah.
everybody who is born, let's say 10 years before 2011 at least, knows
Yeah.
about Fukushima because of the earthquake.
Yes. Yes. And I came right after that. You
Yeah.
must have been here that time, were you?
No, I was in Saipan. It was the year before I came.
Was it? Oh, so we were
I know
both
it
like,
was that year. I came that year
oh
in the
man.
winter. So what happened that day was I was barbecuing for my wife's birthday, and then we got a call while I was cooking at the house, and then it was her dad, and then he was like, "We just had an earthquake," and since we were barbecuing, we were just like, "Oh, you guys are okay, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're all good," and I was like, "Okay," and then we just kept cooking, and the next morning I went to work, and then I saw the tsunami like smashing into, I guess it was Fukushima or Iwate or something like that. So I saw the tsunami smashing into the thing and I was like, "Whoa, where is that?" And then my coworkers were like,
Yeah.
"Where have you been?" That's Japan.
Yeah.
It was so
Man.
shocking. And then when I saw that, I was like, "Holy cow." And I told my wife, "You should call your dad because it's a lot worse than we thought." We just thought it was like, because Japan gets earthquakes all the time, right? They're just minor.
Little aftershock type of, yeah.
Yeah, where you're just like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, here we go again.
yeah, just
Like a
waiting for
normal.
it to end, right?
Yeah, yeah, like, okay.
Yeah. So she called him up. And then when I came later that year, I was talking to my coworker and he said in Shin Urayasu is a man made city where it used to be underwater and then they basically just displaced land from another place to there and then built
Whoa.
on top of it. So what happened
Really?
when the earthquake hit was all the seawater came up and it was like maybe like a foot and a half deep throughout the entire city. And a lot of the manhole covers just basically like the entire pipe just popped out of the ground. All the phone lines, of course, were basically they were very busy. So
Ah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you couldn't call anybody, you couldn't text anybody,
All
and
unavailable.
yeah,
Yeah.
he needed to find his wife because they had like a new baby at the time. So instead of
Yeah.
like wasting his time on the phone, he just decided to just like run home through all that water.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and it was really crazy. Like the sidewalks were all deformed.
Oh man.
Yeah. So when I got here, man, you couldn't really walk on the sidewalk because sidewalks you would expect to be flat, right? But it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like rolling hills basically.
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Yeah. How was
Yeah.
it in your area when you got to Fukushima?
It was they were kind I mean, you can actually go to the store and buy stuff and it wasn't really a big thing anymore. I mean, not a big thing, but it wasn't like, the good thing about Japanese construction workers and those people, they're quick. So when I came, actually it honestly was pretty normal. Other than, I
Okay.
mean, just a lot of people were busy getting their businesses back and stuff. It seemed like it was all getting busy again, actually.
Yeah, dude. Speaking about the construction, it was like
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was during COVID. There was
Hmm.
somewhere in Japan where like this hole just opened up in the middle of the street in some city, like a huge hole.
Dude, I saw
And you
that
saw
on
that,
the
and then
news. I saw that on
yeah,
the news, yeah.
they fixed
Like
it
a
in like
like
3 days. It's
yeah, like a
crazy.
big freaking hole, right? Like
Yeah,
dude, I'm gonna
like
go
it's
to
a good
hell
like
if I jump in this
40 feet
hole. Like,
across. Yeah,
dude, yeah, it was a what like something that you would see in a movie, right? I saw that, dude. Like you can see the rebars that are going in the ground. Like, yeah, those
yeah. I
what the
forgot what
heck?
those kind of holes are called. It's like
Yeah.
because it's like a gas pocket under the ground, and what happens is the gas pocket like releases, and then everything that's above it just collapses in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just gets all hollow and stuff and just goes blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, dude.
Man, that's a perfect segue though, since you're employed in construction. So I wanted to ask you
Yay.
questions about how you or what inspired you to get into the construction industry.
Like it was never a choice at all. I mean, I came to Japan. I mean, doesn't matter what job it was. I wanted to work with a Japanese company. And yeah, so my father-in-law, he was like, I have a few people if you want me to introduce you to. They have companies, and I don't know if you're interested in doing construction. I was like, construction? Whoa, like, okay, so what do they got? And he was like, well, they got ashiba, and ashiba is called scaffolding in English.
Okay,
So scaffolding, I was like, whoa, is that like, scaffolds? They build scaffolds? I was like, whoa, that's kind of scary. And what's the other one? And he was like, interior. Well, he said it in Japanese at the time, but interior finishing. They say naiso koji in Japanese, but interior finishing. And I was like, what's interior finishing? I know the word interior, but yeah, I was like, let me choose. So I was like, he's like, well, you apply boards and you do walls and stuff. I'm like, okay, I have no idea, but let's try the interior finishing one. And he's like, okay, let me talk to my friend. And apparently, I had an interview in like the next week. And my second job in Japan was doing interior finishing in a Japanese company for like 3 years.
okay. So your step was before the wallpapers, then, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Okay,
only do the framing, and the boarding, the
yeah,
boards, and that also goes with roofs. I'm like if any building you go to, you look up on the top of the ceiling. That's also NISO. NISO is the interior drywall applicators, if you will.
I see.
And then when we're done, see you. Go to the next work site, and then the wallpaper people come in and they do their thing. But
I like that name,
yeah, the
wallpaper people.
wallpaper people. Yeah, yeah.
That reminds me of that song where they talk about like the flying purple people leaders. You ever heard that song?
It sounds super like for like the same though. Never heard though. The flying purple leaders?
Flying purple people eaters.
Flying purple people eaters.
Yeah, it's a
Holy
very old
crap.
song. It's
Never heard.
from back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Oh my god. Wow. But yeah, so that was my
All right.
first like 3.5 years of construction in Japan.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can you describe your journey from when you first started construction up until now? But since you already kind of started it,
Mhm.
can you continue to like what you did after? And I don't know if
Yes.
that's what you're doing now, but what you did that brought you to this point.
Okay, so yeah. So when I was doing the interior finishing, we also did a bunch of other like part-time uh jobs that
Mhm.
are like totally different from like interior finishing. which got me into like learning a little bit of scaffolding actually, and like doing
Okay.
what was it called in English? Well, you know when you walk on like on the sidewalks and stuff, and you see like on the ground it's like all like blocks, like puzzled blocks that are like are just like like not tiles, but they're like blocks that are
The
like
bricks.
the bricks that are like nicely like designed, and they're all like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the brick patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, like super cool. I did a little part time of that with the same company that I was doing interior finishing with.
Okay.
And then we did a bunch of different things, even like building like what's the place where you can see stars and stuff?
Planetarium.
Planetariums. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. Planetarium. Like we built like a legit like planetarium, like we soundproofed it and we did like these weird panel thing. I mean, it was like it started to get interesting there because okay, so the thing that I didn't know about Japanese companies before I even started was that sometimes they can all be freaking
They can be doo-doo heads.
yeah, these freaking doo-doo dummies, dodo brains. Like, yeah, sometimes they're like so impatient. I mean, they got the good ones, they got the cool ones, they got the really smart, quiet ones, but they got the freaking like they can work, kind of work, but they got the mouse, and they because they're older, they're like, "Ah, why are you so
Yeah.
slow? Hurry up! Ah,
Yeah.
why are you still over there? What are you thinking about right now? You
Yeah.
know, why are you acting like you don't know? You know, like those people that like kind of put you down. So there was
Yeah.
that stage of you know, the pressure started kicking in. I'm like, man, is this really what I want to do? But
Yeah.
then YouTube was around, right? So because back then no one would really teach you how to like, you know, do work. They're like they would say, you watch and you learn. We don't teach you. I don't know why
Yeah.
they were so mean before, but but yeah, you watch and learn. But even when I tried my best to like really watch, she's like, "Why are you just standing there?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry." You know, like I'm trying to watch and learn. You dude, pick up the trash over there. You know, it's like a weird generation. Like freaking, how many years ago was that? But
Yeah.
uh, got those mean people. They're just. But then the YouTube was there, so I was like, man, how can I level myself up to show them that I'm better than what they think? So I
Yeah.
searched, interior finishing, drywall applicating, how to measure this and that. I super like I learned a lot from YouTube, bro. Like literally, and like
Yeah.
literally, I learned a lot from YouTube that made me super skilled up. That I became way better than those mean people, where they
Okay.
started to respect me. It's like,
Nice.
whoa, how? Oh, okay, I see. How did he do that? Like,
I like how you impersonate them. Ooh.
oh, how did he do that? That was kind of bad, I thought. How did he get so good at that? No, but no, but yeah. So yeah, we became all good. I mean, it was just the first 2 years. Yeah, yeah. The first year and a half was kind of like in the beginning. I was like kind of learning a little bit, and then they're like, "Ah, the foreigner guy here. Let's just have fun with him and jokes and stuff." But then when they got busy and stuff, that's when I saw the real side of like the how the attitude changes, and the
Yeah.
a little bit of the dark side of the company, if you will, if that's how I could say it. But so even when they're all on break and stuff, like I'll like literally take like the trash, the cut trash plasterboards that were around, and I'll literally
Yeah.
like try to like figure my ways on how to apply the plasterboard without
Yeah.
it having to fall on me, or I found my techniques,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I did it in like a week, and they're like,
Yeah.
what?
So just to
And
put things into perspective, this
yeah.
this plasterboard is about the size of a futon, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
like a
yes.
twin size bed. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Or a single,
And there's
sorry.
different sizes and different weights. And usually for the
Yeah.
ones that we do on the roofs, they're a little bit thinner. So I mean, like you can like hold it like this with this part of your arm. You can hold
Yeah.
it up like this, and it won't be like, what the fuck? It's like you can
Yeah.
hold it pretty good. But then you gotta screw it in, you know what I mean? So it's like, how am I gonna hold it and screw this side and screw that side without it without having it bend down, because it's
Yeah.
pretty long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to build a technique where you put the screws in your mouth,
Yeah.
and then you gotta like maneuver the screws while in your mouth onto the impact drill or whatever
Yeah.
drill that you're using at the moment, and then you
Yeah.
gotta like you have to use your tongue and then turn the screw upside down in your mouth to and go and put it on the tip of that freaking plus of the freaking bit, you know what I mean? And then go
Yeah.
boom. But then not one screw will hold that. So you got to do that like
Yeah.
four or five different areas. And then when you
Yeah.
do 5 areas, you can let go of your hand like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think anybody listening will know what you mean if they're not watching it.
See?
Because it's like you
Man.
put the thing on the plus and then you go boom.
You got to maneuver the screw in your thing. And what do you mean? Yeah, you put it on your
Put it in your mouth and then you're gonna get sick and
yeah, yeah. Dude, yeah, I know. And I didn't think of, like screws in a box have, they got to put oil. You got to have
like
oil in there to
chemicals
keep
and
it
stuff.
all
Yeah.
chemicals and stuff. But I'm alive. I'm here. I think I did okay. I mean, I do twitch over here sometimes now.
So, anyways, back to your story.
Yeah, so I did that for 3.5 years, but there was a point where like after like that third year, they started to get slow at work, right? And I wasn't
Yeah.
a full-time permanent worker. So if I took off, which, I want to take off sometimes, right? To, have fun with my family, right? We want to go to
Yeah.
Disneyland or whatever, right? And,
Yeah.
any day you take off, you don't get paid for that day because I was a
Right.
part-time worker. And I was like, man, I can't do this. And they're like, well, this is the only job we have right now. So we don't have any closer jobs at home. So yeah, to make the story short, I had to tell them, man, I'm going to find another job. By then, of course, my skills of even Japanese, just that first 3 years of working in a Japanese company with only Japanese people, and they don't know any English, only like, this is a pen. No, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, so yeah, that was that. And, I had to change jobs. I was also playing music when I was in Japan, and there's a person that I was friends with, and he always joked with me and said, "Man, you should come and work with me at my company over here, which is in another city in Japan." And
Okay.
it turned out to be he was saying, "Would you like to try to build foundations?" And then I was like, "Foundations? Okay." By then, I knew how to measure. I was already okay with doing construction stuffs, and yeah, I was like, okay, I'm down. So I moved to another city, which was Sendai. It's another city in the Tohoku district of Japan, up north, uh, 2 hours from here. But yeah, I did that for freaking 6 years and building
6 years.
foundations.
Wow.
Yeah, building foundations. I don't want to ramble too much about this one, but I mean, I had to think about my body and the future. I have a family, I have kids. I don't want to have, like back like a bad back when I'm like 45 or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I really had to think about life more. I mean, it was good that I, had the experience in doing foundation, but I had to change. And there was another opportunity that I had that was back in this place which I'm living right now, Koriyama.
Mhm.
And perfect timing. I uh, just on the right timing. I had this job offer from another person that I knew, and he's like, "How's about you try to do um, a work site director slash what do you do well?" And I'm like, "Whoa, are you giving me the choice? I mean, I can do da 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 da," and you're like, "Wow, we want you, right?" So now I'm here, and I do carpentry now, and I'm also a work site director, which means like a work coach. So pretty much, if you're gonna start a any building or office or any structure that you're gonna build, you
Mhm.
need those work site directors and architects to build this place right here. So I'm in a company that we we build whatever the customer wants. So yeah, we build apartments, houses, clinics. We build it, whatever. and because I have a lot of experience with the building stuff.
Yeah, you dabbled in pretty much everything. So it sounds
Yeah.
like you've gone through like a lot of hardship, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you also grew a lot. So would you
Mm-hmm.
recommend for like people wanting to move to Japan, would you recommend them getting into construction like you did, even if their Japanese is not so good?
I would say, yeah, I would recommend someone to try out Japanese companies if they're down. And just remember, not everyone's all nice, you know. You're gonna go through ups and downs anywhere you go, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That experience that you had where you said people were talking down to you,
Yeah.
and I think that's very uh characteristic of how long time ago or even now you have these apprenticeships, right? For example, if you want to learn how to make sushi, you become an apprentice for like a master sushi chef for let's say 15 years or something like that, right?
Mm.
And during that time, they tell you you cannot make sushi, you can only watch. And then every once in a while, your boss will like be like, go make this. And then you have to make it and he'll test it. And if it sucks, he'll be like, go back to washing the dishes or whatever. And he'll do that for X amount of years until you finally get it right.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, the way that they talk down, you can really feel that like samurai spirit.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes it's toxic. Sometimes it's toxic. Like they just talk down to you to try to make
yeah.
you feel bad. But sometimes the way that they do it is intended to make you hard, right? To make you be
Mm.
able to withstand any kind of
Yes,
oppression or hardship.
I see. But again, about construction, it's a
Yeah,
different story because if you like work for a construction company, it's like
yeah.
you're working with like the pirate, like the sharks of the like the what do you like the land sharks, like you're working with
Oh, okay.
pirates.
Yeah, you're working with rugged
Everyone's,
people.
oh right, yeah. You got people that are like has like people that fight. You got people that had
Yeah,
a backstory, like bad people, I mean, you don't really experience any like crazy people, but they do have their stories. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they all have like interesting stories and like wow, like you're
yeah,
like I mean, I don't want to say I'm a bad person, but like we grew up with like a lot of like street type of people, and you
yeah,
know we know a lot about like and especially knowing Japan for being like a very safe place. Like no one's bad here, or I mean, anywhere you go, it's bad people, but I
yeah,
mean, yeah, working in the construction industry in Japan, you're gonna, you're pretty much working with like pirates. Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's a good way to put it.
language barrier doesn't even, don't, they'll speak the way they want to speak and they won't get fired. Nothing will happen to them. Even if they threw a thing on the ground, anything goes. It's if it's in the work sites. That's one thing you gotta like put in mind is that, yeah,
Okay.
they're pretty wild.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy.
But about working in Japan, sorry. Um, Anywhere you go working in Japan, you learn the work speed that, time is money. So
Yeah.
that's why I really love that I learned a lot with all these companies because one thing that they all had in common was time is money and, you got to speed up. But if you compare it to like, America or like other places, like take your time, it's like, no, 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 you can't. That's why I cannot go back to Saipan anymore to work because the work style is way slower.
Yeah, I think if you develop the working speed in Japan and then you go back to a slow life place like a tropical island like Saipan, for example, you're just gonna piss people off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for today's episode. If you have any questions or if you have any stories you'd like us to share, please let us know. Until then, excuse me, Masen, and see ya.
See ya.